I'm picking, if you're just picking on who's going to win this, I think Ankalaev does it again. I think he's going to be more wrestle heavy. Will he get the takedowns? No, but he's safe enough on the feet to just constantly get himself out of danger. He's going to be fit enough. You know what I mean? So when there's danger and if Pereira's doing a great job, he can stick to him a little bit, then get himself back there, get him out of danger, win back that octagon control, do enough to just win 5-round decision. So I'm going to have to go with Ankalaev for the win. Can Pereira get the knockout? 100%. But I think Ankalaev wins. Parlay, I want you to, I think the I think the Sandhagen and the Khalil Roundtree are great parlay. You want to add Pereira in there? Go for it. That's a mad parlay. But there we have it. Ankalaev for the win. Main event, incredible fight, incredible card. Come back here and let me know what you think. After the fights, let's have more conversations about it. Till then, see you then.
Who do I have winning in the rematch? Ankalaev taking on Alex Pereira.
And I think Ankalaev does get the job done and he will remain the champion.
From Drickus, for many of you, I would be curious, what about those experiences should lead us to believe we're going to get a different result in round 6 through 10.
MMA pros have just shared their final verdicts on the upcoming rematch between Alex Pereira and Magomed Ankalaev. Kamaru Usman and Henry Cejudo discussed the upcoming rematch between Alex Pereira and Magomed Ankalaev, and they noted that Pereira will need to be more aggressive than in their first fight, which could leave openings for Ankalaev to capitalize on. Ankalaev in turn must act early and control the center of the cage. If Pereira can improve his left leg attacks to the match's right, the fight could shift, but overall, they lean toward Ankalaev walking away with the belt.
So who wins? You didn't really give us a prediction here.
It's hard to go up against Unk time, but I feel like this is a different Pereira, bro. I'm kind of swinging Pereira, but I'm gonna put it with Ankalaev, man. Am I wrong? Am I wrong?
Alex Pereira, he's got to be more aggressive than he was that first fight. And by him being a lot more aggressive, he's gonna leave those openings, and I think Magomed Ankalaev might land something significant. So I do think Ankalaev walks away with the belt and still.
Alex Pereira fought a lot closer to the cage, bro. For Magomed, he's gonna have to get those takedowns. He has to do it early, and he's gonna have to do it in the center. And for Alex Pereira, if he can make his lead leg, his left as good as his right, it could be a different fight, man.
Max Holloway predicts Alex Pereira will rely on his signature leg kicks to reclaim victory against Magomed Ankalaev. He believes Pereira regretted not using them in their first fight and will start targeting Ankalaev's legs early this time. Holloway expects Pereira to control the fight away from the cage, land his kicks effectively, and ultimately have his hand raised as the new champion.
I'm telling you right now, I'm willing to bet right now with anyone, is that we're going to see Alex Pereira's vintage leg kicks in this fight. I guarantee he was pissed at himself for that first fight for not doing it, especially with the information that he had, with the way Magomedov takes leg kicks in one of his older fights. I think Alex goes in there, he's not going to get hold against the cage. I think he's going to stay his distance. I think he's going to get on leg kicks early. And I think Alex get his hands raised, man. I think Pereira is going to be the champion again. And it's going to be fun, no disrespect to Magomed. No disrespect to him. He's a beast. He's an animal. I think he's really good. But I don't think Alex is going to let him push him against the cage like how he did in the first outing. And I don't think Alex is going to wait too much. Alex was waiting on him a lot. And that's why Magomedov could go first. And he would start the combination and he would also end it, I think Alex is going to start. I think he's going to come out early, super early with leg kicks. And I think so we're going to get an Anu for this main event, man. I can't wait.
Alexander Volkanovski predicts Magomed Ankalaev will win the fight. He expects Ankalaev to rely more on wrestling, even if he doesn't secure takedowns, while staying safe in his feet and controlling the octagon. Volkanovski sees him using smart movement and endurance to take a 5-round decision. He acknowledges that Pereira could still get a knockout, but his prick is Ankalaev.
I'm picking, if you're just picking on who's going to win this, I think Ankalaev does it again. I think he's going to be more wrestle heavy. Will he get the takedowns? No, but he's safe enough on the feet to just constantly get himself out of danger. He's going to be fit enough. You know what I mean? So when there's danger and if Pereira's doing a great job, he can stick to him a little bit, then get himself back there, get him out of danger, you know, win back that octagon control, do enough to just win 5-round decision. So I'm going to have to go with Ankalaev for the win. Can Pereira get the knockout? 100%. But I think Ankalaev wins. Parlay, I want you to, you know, I think the I think the Sandhagen and the Khalil Roundtree are great parlay. You want to add Pereira in there? Go for it. That's a mad parlay. But there we have it. Ankalaev for the win. Main event, incredible fight, incredible card. Come back here and let me know what you think. After the fights, let's have more conversations about it. Till then, see you then.
Michael Bisping predicts that Magomed Ankalaev will control the fight against Alex Pereira, much like their first encounter. He expects Ankalaev's wrestling and pressure to keep Pereira against the fence, allowing him to land significant shots. Bisping notes that Pereira's kickboxing background and chin make him tough to finish, but Ankalaev's diverse skills, including grappling and striking, give him more ways to win, and he believes Ankalaev will remain champion.
I think it's going to be the same way. I think Magomed Ankalaev, because of the wrestling, will force Pereira back up against the fence. I think we'll see a lot of control time. I think we'll see Magomed Ankalaev landing some big shots just like we did last time. I think it's just going to be a continuation of the first fight, round 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Will it get to the 10th round? I don't know. Alex Pereira is not an easy man to finish. Of course, he's got an extensive resume in kickboxing. He's got a solid chin. He ain't no pussy, and he ain't like been knocked out. He's not damaged goods or anything like that. The reality is, styles make fights, and Ankalaev can take his shots, he can land the shots, he can take him down, he can pressure him, he's got more ways to win, and that's going to overload the mind of Alex Pereira. Remember, he was a kickboxer. He hasn't been doing the grappling side of things too long. And even though Ankalaev isn't your typical Dagestani wrestler, the man does combat sambo. He's Dagestani. He knows how to wrestle, and that will play a factor. I think the most damage is going to be done with the hands, and I think Ankalaev does get the job done, and he will remain the champion.
Demetrius Johnson predicts that Alex Pereira will win the rematch. He feels Pereira was unprepared for Ankalaev's rhythm in their first fight, but believes Pereira is now refreshed after rest and recovery. Johnson notes that time off and renewed focus give Pereira a fresh perspective, allowing him to approach the fight smarter and stronger, ultimately giving him the edge to secure victory.
After all that, who do I have winning in the rematch? Ankalaev taking Alex Pereira. I'm gonna go with Alex Pereira. The reason why is because I felt in the first fight, I felt Alex Pereira just didn't have an answer for the rhythm that Ankalaev was doing. But after seeing some videos of Alex Pereira, I think he's refreshed. I felt when he fought Ankalaev, he was just going banger after banger after banger after banger. I think sometimes the athlete that can wear you out, it could extinguish the fire. And I think now that he's had a lot of rest, he's been able to, you know, enjoy the fruits of his labor of all that money he's made. Now he's refreshed, and now he's coming in this fight with a new set of eyes. For that, I'm gonna go with Alex Pereira.
Sean O'Malley says the fight between Alex Pereira and Magomed Ankalaev is tough to call, and he notes that Ankalaev landed strong shots and almost finished Pereira early, while Pereira came back stronger in the third round. O'Malley respects Pereira's power but leans slightly toward Ankalaev, though he acknowledges a knockout is always possible. Ultimately, he gives a slight edge to Pereira.
Ankalaev throws those beautiful shots to the body. He was landing some beautiful shots to the body, some twos to the old fucking tits. It's like, you have to respect Alex Pereira's power, but you also have to be able to fucking willing to get in there and trade, and that's what Ankalaev did. He cracked him good a few times. He almost dropped him at the end of the second, I believe. Then Pereira had a better third, and that was a close fight. I'm kind of leaning towards Ankalaev, but it's hard to count someone out that can knock someone out with one fucking punch.
Dustin Poirier predicted that Alex Pereira will find a way to defeat Magomed Ankalaev in their rematch. He emphasized that Pereira is determined to regain his belt, driven by both revenge and the need to prove his previous fight was not indicative of his true skill. Poirier highlighted Pereira's constant threat of landing a fight-ending strike and expects the fight to conclude with a knockout or TKO.
You said you think Alex is a good underdog value pick. Tell me why. Why do you think he wins this fight?
I just think he's danced with this guy before. He wants that title back, and he wants to win. You know, he wants revenge, and he wants to show that wasn't him in the last fight. There's a lot of reasons why, and And I just feel like he's too dangerous of a fighter to go in there and not find that shot this fight.
You think you see it inside the distance knockout?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a TKO or a KO inside the distance.
Sean Strickland pointed out that despite Ankalaev's talent, Pereira still has a strong chance in the rematch. He explained that Pereira has faced constant pressure, travel, and star responsibilities, while Ankalaev has been able to focus quietly. Strickland added that if Pereira resets mentally, avoids excessive travel, and enters fresh, he has the tools needed to beat Ankalaev.
Ankalaev is just so fucking good. I think a couple things. I think Alex has a great chance of beating him in the rematch. I think Alex goes too hard. I mean, how many title defenses did he have? Going up and down weight classes. Where Ankalaev rides the bench for a certain amount of time. Being that active and none of that being a superstar. No one knows who the is. Ankalaev walks down the street. No one knows who that guy is. Alex is a superstar. He can't leave his house without someone saying, "Oh, there's Alex. Should we take a picture?" It kind of takes a toll on the mind. Where, you take Ankalaev, who just lives in a cave somewhere. I don't even know where that guy's from, but dude, he probably lives in a cave somewhere and just, he doesn't have to deal with the same pressures of being famous as you do in the U.S. So I think Alex, if he just takes a step back, clears his brain, comes in fresh, stop traveling all over the fucking world, I think he has a legitimate shot of beating him.
Dricus du Plessis also backed Alex Pereira to win the UFC 320 rematch against Magomed Ankalaev. He argued that Ankalaev's plan to trade strikes would be risky and likely ineffective. Du Plessis added that he does not expect the fight to go the distance and believes Pereira will successfully reclaim the championship.
Yeah, the thing with Pereira is he's a bully fighter in the sense where he walks you down, he's intimidating, because he hits so hard, he doesn't care if he walks into the fire. And Ankalaev was smart in the first fight to stay away and then get all the way in to smother him and get his back, to put him on the back foot. You don't, when Pereira's on the back foot, he's not the best. That's not his style. But now they know Ankalaev's going to close that gap. I know Ankalaev says he's going to strike with him. I don't think that's a great idea. I really don't think that's a good idea. But yeah, I really don't see this fight going the distance this time. But I'm putting my money on Pereira to claim the title. I have to go with him.
Robert Whitaker said Magomed Ankalaev poses a serious threat to Alex Pereira due to his unique skill set. He noted that while Pereira has dominated past opponents, few have had the style needed to exploit his weaknesses. Whitaker highlighted that Ankalaev is one of the rare fighters in the division who combines wrestling and striking effectively, giving him a real chance to beat Pereira.
Ankalaev has the skill set to beat Pereira, because you look at Pereira's opponents that he's fought. Yeah, he ran through them, but those dudes weren't the guys to beat him. I don't think. I think Jan was a good shout to beat him,
and we saw how close that fight was. I mean,
exactly. You know what I mean? So again, there aren't a lot of those heavy wrestle mixed guys in the division at this moment.
Whitaker also described Ankalaev as a nightmare matchup, emphasizing his mix of striking and the constant takedown threat. He admitted Ankalaev's style makes preparation difficult and expressed curiosity about how the rematch will unfold, as it brings together two very different but highly dangerous skill sets.
Long arms, tall, they're all got long arms. Everybody's 6'3" and above. I don't know.
What about Magomed Ankalaev? He's the champ. We'll see what happens on the weekend against Pereira. How would you see a fight with him going? That would be an interesting one. I feel like he'd love that one. Strategically, it's like a bit of a chess match, right?
Yeah, it would be. He'd be a nightmare. Let's see what happens with him and Pereira.
Tom Aspinall gave his perspective on Alex Pereira's career path, noting that most of his previous opponents played into his strengths. He explained that Pereira has faced new fighters with serious wrestling ability, making Ankalaev a much tougher challenge. Aspinall pointed out that even though Ankalaev attempted a few takedowns in their first fight, the threat of being taken down adds significant difficulty for Pereira.
I think the matchups were quite favourable to him up until this point. I think the threat that Ankalaev brings in, him being a southpaw, him controlling the range really well, and him just with the threat of the takedowns, even in the first fight we didn't really see him really go for the takedowns too much, but I think just the threat being there, I think stylistically he's a bad matchup for Pereira, and I wouldn't be surprised if he does it again.
Trainer Tim Welch said he hopes to see Alex Pereira win the rematch, but stressed it will require more aggression and trust in his striking. He explained that Pereira gave too much respect to Ankalaev's takedown threat in their first fight, which limited his offense. Welch acknowledged the risk of overcommitting, but he's excited to see Pereira land clean and potentially finish the fight, while noting Ankalaev remains very dangerous.
So, I don't know. I hope Pereira can get it done, but he's going to have to come out and just be a little more offensive. Let it go a little bit more, not be so not respect his takedowns as much. Again, easier said than done. You don't respect the takedowns as much. You go throw some fucking crazy shots. Now you're on your back and you got to get up. And that zaps your energy. Zaps it. But I'm excited to see it, and I hope Pereira cracks him right on the chin and puts him out. Let's see what happens. Ankalaev's a monster. Hope you guys enjoyed that video. And if you did, hit that like and subscribe button. Like I said, it helps me out a lot. I really, really appreciate it. Comment your thoughts below, what you think, and we'll see you guys next time. Love y'all. Bye-bye.
Brendan Schwab believes Alex Pereira has everything required to win the rematch, and he thinks a Pereira victory would benefit the UFC's future, especially with the new Paramount deal. He acknowledged Ankalaev's grappling strength, but noted that Pereira has a stronger fan connection and media presence. Schwab added that Pereira, now healthy and wiser from the first fight, could deliver a much better performance, and he's rooting for him to win.
So I do think Alex has the tools to pull this off, and for the sport, and for the longevity of the UFC and for this new Paramount deal, you want Alex to win. And listen, I don't need a guy tweeting and doing all the shit talking and all that stuff. It's just Magomed's style, even though he's looked upon as a grappler, but there's just some disconnect there with the fan base and with the media where Magomed's not a bigger star. I do think we see a very different fight from Alex, being healthy, having the tape study of the first fight. Even though he's injured, he can take a lot from that. I hope he wins. I hope Alex wins.
Chael Sonnen explained why the rematch hasn't created much excitement, noting that many fans and fighters expect a repeat of the first fight. He pointed out that Ankalaev's decisive, uncontested win leaves little reason to think the outcome will change. Sonnen also criticized the fight's narrative, observing that Ankalaev has repeatedly challenged Pereira while Pereira has stayed unusually quiet, making the build-up feel unusual and less compelling.
Well, everything just changed. So Pereira versus Ankalaev is very much going under the radar, and it's going under the radar for a number of reasons, but none of which is greater than the fact that we believe we know the outcome of that fight. Like there just hasn't been a lot of pomp and circumstance around the idea that Pereira is going to win that fight. Other guys in the division that see themselves lined up, when they come out and talk about it without disrespecting Pereira, but they do mention, I think I should be next. I think I should take on Ankalaev next. They will give a hint or a clue that they believe that Ankalaev is going to win. I don't see that any different. I watched that first fight. There was nothing compelling from a controversial standpoint that would make you believe that if you did 5 more rounds, you were going to get a different result. I'm sharing with the way the media and the story is being told. It appears that he's not overly interested in the fight. If you guys will remember, Ankalaev beat Pereira. Ankalaev then calls out Pereira. We're all looking around going, I literally said this to my producer. My producer, Ryan, shows me this. I go, Ryan, are you showing me an old article? What do you mean Ankalaev called out Pereira? He just beat Pereira. Ryan goes, no. He called him out today. Said Ankalaev, who beat Pereira, is calling out Pereira? He said, yes, he called him out today. I had to go to social media, go to Ankalaev, and make sure that I had this story right. And sure enough, he called him out again, and he called him out again, and he called him out the next week, and then he really started to ramp things up a month or so later, and Pereira never, that I saw, responded.
Johnny Walker noted that both Alex Pereira and Magomed Ankalaev have elite striking skills. He described Ankalaev as patient and methodical, preferring disciplined victories over risky exchanges. Walker believes Pereira needs to increase his aggression, as both fighters often approach bouts cautiously despite their knockout power. He emphasized that the fighter willing to take more risks will likely win, and he hopes the rematch ends with a clear, decisive finish.
And then speaking of the title itself, a rematch between Ankalaev and Alex Pereira. You fought Magomed Ankalaev twice. What do you think is the most important thing for Alex Pereira to do getting a second crack at this guy?
Yeah, both guys, they are very experienced. They both are strikers, right? Ankalaev is a striker too.
and both have a lot of experience, right? But I believe Ankalaev very smart, right? And he take his time. He never rush, and he build his winning by step, you know. But I believe that if Pereira like put a little bit more, you know, be a little bit more aggressive, because Pereira also, he doesn't come like rushing people. I think the difference in that fight, who's gonna have more advantage, who take more risk, you know, a little bit more risk. Both guys are very safe. They are deadly, you know, but they're both very safe. And if you both keep safe, he's gonna go for the points again, you know. I believe a title shot, you need to show that you're the champ. You need to finish the opponent, because there's the ultimate reason to become champion, like go there and finish the guy. You know, I believe in finishes, you know, and I'll be happy, very happy if I watch a finish on that fight.
Dan Hardy believes the rematch will play out very differently from the first fight, and he explained that Alex Pereira struggled previously, not from fear but because he couldn't find his rhythm against Magomed Ankalaev's awkward pressure, often waiting too much instead of imposing his usual aggressive style. Hardy expects Pereira to return with his confident, dominant approach.
No, I think it's a very different fight this time around. You know, I think a little bit like, obviously not in the same capacity, but a little bit like Dominic Reyes. He just kind of looks a bit flat, and not that he was intimidated to open up, but he kind of couldn't get started. You know, Ankalaev was always kind of, he's a bit awkward and he's kind of on the front foot, and it was Pereira was waiting for him to open up to see what he was going to do. It wasn't the confident Pereira that we see, you know, kind of walk forward and bully people. And I think that's going to be the version that we'll get this time around.
Hardy also highlighted Ankalaev's training with large sparring partners, likely enhancing his grappling for the rematch. He predicts a more explosive fight, noting that a refreshed Pereira is always dangerous. Hardy added that Pereira may have underestimated Ankalaev's slick defense and ability to control distance in their first encounter.
The other thing I will say, you know, Ankalaev, we've seen him a couple of times at the PI. He's working with some monstrous fighters. I mean, he really has. He's brought in some big boys to work with. So I think he's going to be trying to push the pace as well, and I expect more grappling from Ankalaev. But I think it's going to be quite an explosive fight this time around. You know, a recharged and refocused Alex Pereira is a scary, scary thing. And you know, side quests, you know, in the background, that could be exhausting. You know, I know I've spoke to a lot of people and they said, yeah, you know, he was everywhere. He's at a lot of the events and he's doing this and that. And I would imagine he looked at Ankalaev and thought, I can find a way to this guy's chin and take it, you know, take it home. And, you know, I just think maybe he underestimated the slickness and the range management of Ankalaev.
Rashad Evans admitted he was surprised by Alex Pereira's sharp remarks, calling his opponent a coward and a weak champion, but he appreciated the added intensity for the fight build-up. Evans noted that he has met Pereira several times and sees him as more grounded and focused now. He believes Pereira has reconnected with his ruthless side, which is crucial for the rematch, emphasizing that MMA rewards a savage mentality over politeness.
He showed he's a coward. We'll see. He's hiding now. We'll be in the cage, locked in there, unless he jumps the fence. He's a shitty champion, this guy. Never heard Alex talk like that about any of his opponents.
I love that, Jama. I love that. You know, I got a chance to see Alex a few times just here and there, and I really like Alex as a person, and I like the fact that you know, he's kind of settled down his life a bit. Just kind of really got dialed in. You know, sometimes success can make you be your own worst enemy, just being so spread out, going here, going there, and you overbook your schedule, and before you know it, you're doing all the other things more than you are actually doing the thing that, you know, that you're making your money from. So I'm glad that he's kind of reconnected to that savage part of himself, because listen, this isn't a nice contest. Yeah, it's great, you can have respect for your opponent, but there has to be that part of you that is just an asshole, to say the least. You know what I'm saying? You gotta be a savage in there, and for him to tap back into that savagery, he's gonna need that.
He's going to need that. So I'm glad that he's feeling that way, and I'm glad that he's not liking them. Shake hands and be friends after the competition.
And that's it for today's video. So what are your thoughts on this? What do you think about their rematch? Would love to hear your thoughts on this, so share your thoughts in the comment section, and make sure to subscribe and like if you enjoyed the video. Also, check out our other videos on the screen right now.